How's it going, Ping Pirates crew? It's Adrian, and we're back with another video. So today I have some Ace gameplay for you guys. We already did the red meta guide for OP3, so I thought this would be a great time to just start with the OP3 gameplay. Unfortunately, I can't really do live gameplay because, we don't have the physical cards, so you guys are going to have to deal with me playing on the sim. But this is the list we're using. I got it and adapted it from Twitter. It originally had no Flame Emperor. It was running 4 Jet Pistol, which I didn't really like, so I put in 4 Flame Emperor instead. And then I think it was also running 4 Seaquakes, which is more for a really Zoro heavy meta, which is still really good, but I feel like the Ninebeard in general is going to really swing games in your favor, especially when you go first against them anyway. But yeah, so we got a couple of games to show you guys, and hopefully we could get more gameplay in the next coming weeks. But I just wanted to throw a quick reminder and announcement that I was actually on a podcast with Kek Filet and the Kekcast, so that should be out today, so I will link it down below in the pinned comments. Definitely check it out. I talk with Saucy and Kek Filet, and they're both awesome people in the community, so you should definitely check out their content. But with that being said, let's get right into the gameplay. So against Katakuri, we're going to want to go first because we have the 9-drop Whitebeard. Our curve is really good going first because we can do a Marco play into Ace, into Whitebeard, which is pretty good tempo for us, and that's really what we need to win this matchup. So then I'm just going to start off with an Ezo here, and I'm thinking about what to grab. I think I end up grabbing the Whitebeard Pirates if I remember correctly. The Flame Emperor is good, but it's very situational. Whitebeard Pirates is just going to let me grab pretty much any character that I want. And then he's going to play out his 2k counter. I think this is just to look at the top of my life, but I don't know why he would do that because his leader skill already does that. And then I'm just going to play out a Whitebeard Pirates. Grab the Ninebeard because I know I'm going to need it in the future. And then I actually just grab my Ace here. So now I have pretty much a perfect curve going into turn 5 because then I could just drop the Marco to KO the pudding. And then I'll have a 6k on board that I can use. And then I'll just go into Ace and then go into Ninebeard. Because the one thing that you have to do in this matchup is you have to have things on board to swing at them with. I can't really make any progress on their life if they're healing and I don't have anything on board. I'm gonna want to force them to swing into my board instead of my life, and then we're just kind of trading life for things on board. So then I'm gonna swing 5k into him because I'm gonna go ahead and play out the Marco. I don't really care about his Sparrow here for now. So let's see what he does. So he has 6 Dawn up. He hasn't played anything like a Cracker or a Smoothie. He hasn't gotten any triggers because he's countering out of life. So he's just going to go ahead and swing 7k at my face. And then 7k again with 1 Dawn. That's why Katakuri is so strong. It takes me a lot of cards to counter out of a 7k attack. And then he's just going to play out the Sparrow. So it's actually very difficult to. But this is where I'm just going to play the Ace out. And then I'm going to attack into his Ezo with my I'm going to attack into his Sparrow with my Ezo. It's just super efficient there. He lets it go through. And then here I could just be really aggressive, right? So I'm going to swing 5, then 6, then 7. And there is an argument for swinging Marco first, to be honest, because he might have Thunderbolt trigger. That's something I should have probably thought about before I swung 5. Because if he has Thunderbolt trigger, then I just get my Marco KO'd for free, and then I won't get a 6k swing. Because it actually doesn't matter too much what order I swing in, 5k versus 6k. So he's going to swing his Sparrow into my Ezo. I don't know why he wastes a swing there. In my opinion, the Ezo is probably not going to do a lot. But then he's just going to swing 5k, and then he's going to get rid of... I think he gets rid of my Marco here with Katakuri, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I guess he kind of doesn't want to deal with it on board. He doesn't want me, bringing it back with the on KO effect. But in my opinion, the Ace is much more threatening just because it's at that 7k. At least if he's swinging into the Marco, I have to discard event cards. But I'm just going to swing him 7k, he counters out of it, and then I swing him 7k again. And this time he takes, triggers the Shirahoshi, and now I have a 9 beard on the board. So I'm in a pretty good spot here because he's pretty much forced to play the 10 cost Big Mom. And if he doesn't, he's just going to lose the game. So he's going to swing the Katakuri into my ace here. And then I'm just going to 2k counter out of that. We have a lot of cards to counter out. I want to keep my board because he's going to 10 cost Big Mommy here. He's going to swing 5k into my 7k. I don't know if he forgot about it, but that just happened. So he's going to play out the 10 cost Big Mom, and then I'm going to have to kind of clear his board here. And it's actually pretty significant that he forgot about the Parasparrow, because I'm able to clear it here, I think. So I'm just going to attach to swing 12 at the Katakuri, because that's going to eat 3 cards out of his hand if he wants to protect it. And then I'm going to pop the Shirahoshi just because it's, free. And then I'm thinking about what to curve out with here. I think I end up going with a 7k swing, because I could do a 7k swing into another 7k swing and then play Marco and Izo, still have enough up for a Radical Beam. So I go 7. And then he plays out the Brûlée, so that's really good for us because, I could still swing into it next turn if he doesn't end up attacking, or if he doesn't end up killing the 9-beard. But he probably won't kill the 9-beard because, swinging into that is super inefficient. So he's going to swing 12 into our Whitebeard, and I'm just thinking about what the best way to counter this is, because I definitely have to counter it. I'm just going to give him a Rad Beam because he doesn't have lethal at this point. And then he plays out the 7 cost, which I think is a big mistake. I think he was hoping that I would kind of just let him regen a life, but then that wouldn't make a lot of sense because he definitely doesn't have enough Dawn to kill me after playing the 7 cost. I don't know what he has in his hand, but honestly, there were probably better plays than that. And then right here, he's just going to lose. I don't have to do a lot of math here because it's just the win. There's just too many things on board. He has to block too many attacks. So I swing 12k into him. He's going to take, and then I'm going to swing 7k into him here just to get cards out of his hand. Yep, and then he's going to counter out there, and then I'm going to swing 7k into him again, because even if he has the card that, gives him plus 5k, if he gives me 2 cards here, it actually doesn't matter. But he is going to give me the event card, and of course I'm just going to attach my remaining Dawn. For good measure, just discard my 2 event cards, and then that's going to be the win for me. So yeah, the Katakuri matchup, you really just have to be aggressive and just keep swinging at their face, keep things on board, just so it's really uncomfortable for them to heal. All right, so getting into another one, I think this one we're going to be playing against Nami here. And Nami is a really interesting matchup because you really have to play a lot differently than normal, because usually you're going to want to swing 5s and swing efficient magic numbers for 7. But honestly, in my opinion, if you're not swinging for 9 while they have Dawn up, it's really difficult because you don't want them to use the counter events that they have. So here I don't really have a play, so I'm just going to swing 8 into the Nami, and then she's probably just going to block, and she's going to be able to trash the top card, which is a Kaya. And that's really significant because Kaya is essential to her strategy, so it actually sucks really bad that she trashed this card. And then she's going to play out a Mihawk, which I think is pretty interesting. That definitely is an interesting choice because, you're able to get that draw 2, trash 2, and it also kind of acts as a blocker because you don't really want to have that. You really don't want her to get value out of it every turn. But she is just going to use the Mihawk there to counter out of my 6k swing, and she's going to swing 6k at me. I'm not going to counter this because, frankly, you don't really want to counter normal hits from Nami. The only hits that I would ever consider countering are the ones that, rip 7 cards from their deck. So, the Belmir, the Zeph, the Usops, and then I'm going to be able to get a trigger search off of the Whitebeard Pirates card, which is really great for us. And then she's just going to play out another blocker that's going to mill the top card of her deck. And then she's just going to leave 3 Dawn up. This is kind of the way that Nami plays. So in this case, I'm just going to clear her board. So I'm going to swing 5k here. And I think this person takes a long time to decide what they want to do. So I'm just going to use this time to talk more about the Nami matchup. In general, you don't really want to swing anything lower than 9k, and that's because if you do end up swinging things lower than 9k, she gets to use her counter events for free. So even though 7k is like the magic number, you really don't want to do it unless they don't have any Dawn standing, or unless they have like maybe 1 Dawn standing. But even then it's really tough, because if they have something like a Gavel, or if they have something like Usopp's Rubber Band of Doom, you know, they're going to be able to get a lot of value out of using those counter events. So I'm just kind of showing that right here. I kind of forget about this, or I kind of forget about it in the middle of this match. So I'm going to swing 5k here. And it's actually good that I do this, because you kind of get to see how bad it is. So she uses the Rubber Band of Doom, and then she's able to get rid of a Zeph. And then also she blocks the 7k and is able to trash 2 cards. So right there, she was able to trash 2 cards for free, where if I just didn't swing, she wouldn't have done it. She wouldn't have gotten to trash the 2 cards. And then she's just going to swing 9k into my ace. And then, of course, I'm just going to counter out of this. I don't really need the Otamas here, especially since she's used all of her Dawn. She doesn't have any room for a counter event, so the Flame Emperor is perfect here. So I'm just going to use the Flame Emperor to pop her Belmere so I don't have to worry about it. And then I'm going to swing in 9k to her face. That will cost her all 3 of her cards, which she doesn't want to counter out of, right? So I'm able to get 2 hits on her for free. And then she's able to bounce back my Marco with the Gavel, which is completely fine with me. And then, of course, I'm going to swing her 8k here, because she doesn't have any Dawn up. So she's not going to be able to use the counter events in her hand. And then I just get 3 free damage, because, you know, the Nami was kind of straying off and being greedy, and playing and not playing towards her strengths, which is like using all of those counter events. So she's going to swing, it looks like 9k into my ace. I don't really care about the ace right now, because I mean, actually, I should have countered out of it, if we're being completely honest. Giving an Otama and a Marco was probably a pretty good play. I think the reason why I didn't do it was because I wanted to keep the Marco in hand just in case he had like another Belmere. Because not a lot of Nami decks run the character versions. They usually just run the straight up event versions. So I'm a little bit scared that, you know, I might get hit and swung at. And then again, I play the 9-beard here, and usually you would swing 7k, but I don't want to do that because it's going to allow her to use the events that she just searched off Das Bones. You see, she's using events. She's using Das Bones to get back her Rubber Band of Doom, and that's going to let her mill a card off the top of her deck. So I don't want to swing into her if it's not going to take like a significant amount of cards out of her hand, if that makes sense. So yeah, so then I'm going to just repeat the same turn. Like, I'm just going to play a 9-beard. I'm not going to swing. I'll play an Ezo to search out ace, just so I get another attacker on board. And yeah, I'm just not going to swing into her because it's, one, she has the blocker up. So if I do swing into her 7k, like, she could use Usopp's Rubber Band of Doom, mill the card, or like something like a Gavel and mill 2 cards. Or she could just block and then mill the top card of her deck. So I don't want her to get value off of that blocker. So if I'm not using the Whitebeard effect, I really don't want to be swinging. And I don't even swing with the 9-cost Whitebeard because I know she's just going to block it with her 2-cost. There's really no reason for me to swing there. And then, yeah, she's just going to leave a bunch of Dawn up for counter events. And we're in a really good spot here. So we're going to end up swinging her 12,000 here, popping her blocker so she can't get the extra mill. And then she's going to trash 1 card for Gavel, it looks like. Yeah, this is a really tough scenario because it's like, if you take too much damage, I'm just gonna full stack swing. But if you don't counter out of things, you're just gonna lose a ton of life and lose a lot of tempo. But Nami's playing a different game, right? Like, she just wants to get down to that 0 card. So she's gonna use a Love Beam, which I don't really agree with here. I don't know. I feel like you use the overheat first, and then, like, if you were gonna counter this way, you definitely should have used the overheat first, and then, the gavel, and then use the Love Beam as your last card so you could draw an extra card. But I mean, we're all new to this format, so mistakes like that are going to be made. And then I'm just going to swing 10k into the Nami right there. And then I'm just going to play out an ace here. And I think I just leave the ace standing. Right. Yeah, cuz again, I don't want her to use any other counter events. Her hand is probably full of just counter events. So what I want to do is I want to swing big numbers, so she has to use multiple of them. And swinging 9k is really good there, because she'll have to over counter with them. But yeah, that's pretty much the secret for Nami, honestly. That's why this deck is like, it's kind of hard to do well with this deck, because it just loses if you swing nonstop 9k, because a lot of the other cards in her deck are cards she wants to play. So when you swing her 9k, she has to use, a plus 4,000 event plus another card, and that's usually going to be another counter event. So she's going to lose cards really quickly, as you saw there. So then I'm just checking because, she has the Kaya. She's still relatively close to completing her goal. But here I'm just going to swing 12,000 into her, pop the Kaya so she can't bounce it back with something like an overheat. She's still at 11 cards here, so I don't know if it might be possible, like, if it's like gavel plus, I actually don't think it's possible. She would have to have too many things. So I'm going to swing 18 into her for this last hit, and then, just pop the Das Bones for fun. And then, if she has enough counter, I think she will end up winning this game. But actually, if she probably has to counter with everything in her hand. I didn't do the exact math when I swung this. But if she does have to use everything in her hand, then she probably will have nothing to play on the next turn, which means that she actually just cannot draw more cards. So I'm going to swing. She's going to go up to 13, go up to 17. And then, yeah, I think she realizes that she doesn't have enough counter in hand for the rest of it. And that's going to be the game. So that's going to be the end of this video today, guys. But as always, thank you guys for watching. But what leaders do you guys want me to play, in this new OP3 meta? I'm going to be in the Philippines, so I'm going to be trying to get as much gameplay as possible so that I could still keep, uploading while on my vacation. But yeah, let me know in the comments what leaders you guys want to see in terms of gameplay. Thank you all for watching, and good luck on your school, your career, anything that's going on. And I'll see you on the next one.